Coca-Cola, the world's greatest mystery. It's not just a can of soda. Coca-Cola is an empire, a symbol, and a treasure trove of mysteries you might have never heard of. Mysteries even greater than military secrets, from a recipe locked away like a pirate's treasure to the fact that Coca once contained cocaine, and even how they turned Santa Claus into a red and white icon is all in this video. Let's go back to the year 1886 in Atlanta, Georgia, a time long, long ago. Here, there was a man named John Stith Pemberton, a talented pharmacist, but not a particularly lucky one. Pemberton wasn't dreaming of becoming a billionaire. He simply wanted to create something to help people feel healthier. And so Coca was born, but not in the way you might think. Originally, Coca-Cola was a nerve tonic sold in pharmacies, like cold medicine or vitamins. Pemberton made it using coca leaves and cola nuts, hence the name Coca-Cola was suggested from the beginning. He added a little sweet syrup into the mix. He advertised it as a cure for headaches, fatigue, and even alcoholism. Here's a really interesting detail. Coca-Cola wasn't sold in bottles or cans like today. It was served one glass at a time at pharmacy counters, costing just 5 cents a glass. People drank it like tea and loved the refreshing feeling it brought. However, Pemberton wasn't a business genius. He fell ill, was buried in debt, and ultimately sold the Coca-Cola formula for just $2,300, a ridiculously low price considering its value could be in the hundreds of thousands today. He sold it to Asa Candler, a sharp businessman who transformed Coca from a medicinal tonic into a global phenomenon. He launched campaigns giving Coca away for free, printed advertisements everywhere, and even hired people to hand paint Coca logos on walls around Atlanta. The result? Within a few years, Coca was everywhere in the US, and soon the world. People enjoyed it so much, they began to hunt for the secret formula. What's in it? Even though the ingredients are printed on the packaging, if you think it's just carbonated sugar water, you've been tricked. Coca's formula is considered one of the most closely guarded trade secrets in history. The most important part? The flavoring mix known only to a handful of people in the company. The formula is stored in a steel vault inside the World of Coca-Cola Museum in Atlanta. This isn't just any vault. It has multi-layered security codes, 24/7 surveillance cameras, and even guards straight out of a James Bond movie. Why all the secrecy? In 1977, the Indian government asked Coca-Cola to reveal its formula in order to sell in the country. What did Coca do? They refused to reveal it and simply said goodbye to India, pulling out of the country for 16 years. Better to stop selling than to give up the secret. They only returned in the 1992nd, and the formula is still a mystery. So what's actually in Coca? According to the company, it contains carbonated water, sugar, or syrup in the US, phosphoric acid for a slight tang, caffeine, and something called natural flavors. But natural flavors has always been a mystery. Rumors say it's a blend of essential oils from orange, lemon, cinnamon, vanilla, nutmeg, and caramel flavoring, but no one knows for sure, as Coca has never confirmed or denied this. The mystery itself is how Coca-Cola tells its story and draws people in. Another fun fact, Coca doesn't make complete bottles or cans. They sell concentrated syrup to bottling plants around the world, who then mix it with local carbonated water. So Coca can taste slightly different depending on the country. For example, sweeter or lighter in Vietnam than in Japan, due to different water and mixing techniques. Did you know? When Coca-Cola first launched in 1886, it actually contained a small amount of cocaine, because coca leaves were a key ingredient. Don't be shocked, the amount was tiny, just 1/400th of a typical addictive dose, and at that time, cocaine was still legal. In the 19th century, cocaine was used in all sorts of medicines, painkillers, cough syrups, etc. Pemberton believed it would make Coca more appealing by giving a light sense of alertness. But by 1903, when cocaine became illegal and was considered dangerous, Coca-Cola quickly removed it from the recipe. They began using decocainized coca leaves processed by specialized companies. Even though the amount was tiny, this detail turned Coca into a controversial legend. Some joked that drinking the old Coca-Cola made you high, but in reality, it just gave a little lift. This story made Coca a legend, and a buzzing topic of discussion. If you think Coca-Cola is just soda, you're mistaken. It's a cultural phenomenon. Coca changed the way we see the world from advertising to global events. You know Santa Claus in a red suit? You can thank Coca for that. Ever wondered why Santa always wears red and white with a jolly smile, the same colors as Coca's brand? Why not Pepsi Blue? Before the 1932nd, Santa was drawn in all sorts of colors because no one had ever seen him. Blue, yellow, brown, even purple. But in 1931, Coca-Cola hired artist Haddon Sundblom to create holiday ads. He drew inspiration from Coca's red and white branding and created the Santa we know today, cheerful, plump, and dressed in bright red. That image became so iconic it shaped how the world envisioned Santa Claus. Coca didn't invent Santa, but they sure made him a global icon in their own way. Coca-Cola also appeared in major sports events, especially the Olympics. It's the longest standing sponsor of the Olympic Games since 1928. They didn't just pour money into sponsorships, they brought Coca to every corner of the globe, turning it into a symbol of unity and joy. At every Olympics, you'll see Coca logos everywhere, from billboards to bottles in athletes' hands. Coca-Cola is also a master of advertising, from 19th century hand-painted signs to modern campaigns like printing people's names on bottles and cans. They know how to touch hearts. One fun fact, the name printing campaign started in Australia in 2011 with just 150 names. It became so successful that it spread to nearly 100 countries, and Coca even had to create special custom name printing machines. Have you ever had a Coca can with your name on it? But no empire comes without controversy, and Coca-Cola is no exception. They've been heavily criticized for using enormous amounts of water. To make 1 liter of Coca-Cola, it takes 2 to 3 liters of water, not including the water to clean bottles or run factories. In places like India and Mexico, people have protested because Coca plants depleted local water sources, causing hardship in nearby communities. Also, Coca is one of the world's largest plastic polluters, producing around 3 million tons of plastic packaging every year, or about 200,000 bottles per minute. Although the company has pledged to recycle 100% of its packaging by 2030, many environmental organizations say that's just an empty promise. Coca has also been embroiled in health controversies. They've been accused of contributing to obesity and diabetes due to high sugar content. A 330 milliliter can of Coca-Cola contains about 35 grams of sugar, nearly the entire daily limit recommended by the World Health Organization, WHO. Even though Coca has released low sugar products, criticism continues. And here's a shocking detail. In the 1992nd, Coca-Cola reportedly funded scientific studies to show that soda doesn't cause obesity. When exposed, they had to publicly apologize. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting or entertaining, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to support our channel. See you in the next video.